Hi guys, Alice Taylor down here at Lytham Golf Academy, and today we're going to do a special test. We're going to turn back the clock and we're going to take the Callaway Biggest Big Bertha from 1997 and we're going to test it against the Callaway Epic Flash Sub-Zero. 22 years in the making. How much better is it? So if this is your first time down watching my videos, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If you're enjoying the content, consider clicking the subscribe button, but remember to ring that notification bell, and that way you'll hear about my videos as soon as they drop. Now today's video very much aimed at manufacturers constantly making these claims about new drivers, and new drivers really coming out very, very regularly. So I've taken a driver from 1997. Now, I wasn't even still at school when this came out, believe it or not. I'm going to take it against the 2019 version, so lots more tech in here. I'm going to see how much better. And do you know what? I'm quite excited because I used to have one of these when I was a kid and it worked great. But let's just see what the difference is with the two clubs. Right then guys, so a driver from 1997, the Callaway Biggest Big Bertha against 2019's Callaway Epic Flash Sub-Zero. So Biggest Big Bertha, kind of predating launch monitors, custom fitting, no adjustability, great material. So this was kind of when drivers were starting to get big. And I know I'm getting old because I wasn't even still at school when this came out, but this club head seemed absolutely massive when it first came out. So I'm going to hit 5 Titleist Pro V1 X balls on TrackMan, and we're going to see how much has the equipment changed what we can do with our tee shots in 22 years. So, looks tiny. Kind of looks like kind of the mini drivers that kind of keep coming out now from various manufacturers. Still feels absolutely fantastic. There's my little draw. And some pretty good numbers, I'd take that. I mean, hopefully I'll be hitting it further than I was when I was kind of that age anyway, because I probably swing a bit quicker nowadays. So, let's keep going. And it still feels really, really good. Still feels really good off the club face. Obviously, for what I grew up playing, this seemed huge, really, really forgiving. And that's still getting out there, decent figures wise. Let's just keep going for a few more. That one a little bit out the toe, so definitely turning over more. But it didn't really feel that I lost much speed on that, so that's interesting. Kind of strike wise that wasn't great, but definitely still felt very quick off the club face. That felt very, very good. God, I might be getting a time machine here and going back 22 years for driver. Right, so one final one with Biggest Big Bertha. That felt tiny bit low and towards the heel, but still flown really, really well. Right, so let's look at some average numbers there for Biggest Big Bertha. So I've swung it at just under 105 mile an hour, which is pretty decent. You know, this driver is certainly shorter than what standard would be nowadays, but 244 carry, 263 total. And when we look there, it's saying ball speed's just down slightly. Launch angle was good, slightly high spin, but all in all, not really that far away from what optimal would be. Right, so that moves us into the modern beast. Now what I am going to do with this, just try and make it as fair as possible. When I put the clubs side by side, obviously the head size is very different, but we're about an inch different in the length of shaft. So I'm going to go down the grip an inch to try and make it kind of as realistic a comparison as possible. So down the grip, Obviously, confidence inspiring wise, very, very different with the huge head behind the golf ball. And that fell super quick off the face. So a little bit more ball speed. Certainly a bit different in the distance I've hit the ball. But I don't know whether it's just that maybe the bigger head, you know, it's more forgiving. Therefore it feels like you can swing a little quicker. Not consciously trying to do anything different. That one felt a little bit towards the toe, but still gone really, really nicely. And I think it's interesting because when you listen to kind of manufacturers over the years, there's been lots of promises of this driver's 10 yards further, this one's 15 yards further, this one's 17 yards longer. So, I mean, if I listen to maybe all the claims that have been made in 22 years, I should probably be hitting this about 150 yards further. I think even without looking at numbers, we know that's not going to be the case. So, let's have another 3 with this one. Just a little bit pushy. But again, very, very good. And I do think, obviously, the bigger head, I'm not sure that ball striking has necessarily, you know, it might have even become worse with the bigger head for some guys because there isn't much of as much of an incentive to hit it right out the middle. So, go again. Now that one was low and heely, definitely just shaping out to the right. And let's just go one final one. I mean, certainly for me, it does feel like this one goes further. Obviously, from the figures there, we can see a little bit shot to shot, but it'll be interesting to see when we compare the two drivers as to how far they both go. There's the toey one. So certainly the shape of shot with the miss hit I think is very, very similar club to club. So let's look at the average distances and performance from the Epic Flash Sub-Zero and see if 22 years has really made a big difference. Right, so club head speed up slightly, ball speed up slightly, carry of just under 259 yards with a total of 284. So we can definitely see, as I'm looking how optimal I am, a little bit closer with the Sub-Zero than I was with the Biggest Big Bertha, but also the optimums were a little bit longer with those. And when we look at the two averages, we're looking at 259 against 244 and 283 against 263. Right then guys, so 15 yards extra carry with the new driver. 20 yards total longer. Now, I'll be honest, I was maybe expecting a little bit more. I think the big key there is, though, I could definitely use longer in this, but I've used the same length shaft with where I've held it to try and make it as close as I can for comparisons. But certainly that ability nowadays to custom fit golf clubs does help you maximize what you can do. Now, having said that, I think I only paid £15 for the Biggest Big Bertha online. So when we're looking at, depending what country you're in, certainly considerably more for that than that. You know, if you're just getting going, there's still some very, very good, even though slightly older clubs around, but the new ones are definitely better, definitely better. 20 yards over 22 years? Maybe not what the manufacturers have been claiming, but all in all, still both good clubs. But I would personally rather have those extra 20 yards than give them up, even though I do like that. Right then, so for me, some really, really interesting results there. I genuinely did think that even with the shafts playing the same length, I'd maybe hit the 2019 version a little bit further. Having said that, I know I can use longer in that shaft, and the bigger head gives me that little bit more forgiveness. So like I said there, I do think, you know, the modern stuff's really, really good. But if you're on a tight budget, you know, there's still some fantastic products around that could be 15, 20 years old. It's not going to be perfect for you, but it is going to get you playing golf, and that's what it's about for me, getting as many people playing and enjoying this great game as possible. And if it's slightly older equipment to get you in there, and then you progress into the new stuff, well, that's all the better. But 15 yards carry, 20 total. Maybe a little disappointed I didn't see more. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Comment below. I will get back to as many of you as I can. If you've enjoyed today's video and you don't currently subscribe, hit the button and ring the notification bell, then you'll get my videos as soon as they drop. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.